What's up, everybody? It's Markus coming at you at YouTube. And I want to talk about what Skip Bayless said on First Take. He mentioned something about because it's March and March Madness is coming up. And I love March Madness. Can't get enough of it. And he said he doesn't like the format. And I'm saying like, how can you not like the format when the beauty of the tournament is like the upsets and the Cinderella runs and all that. He said that he didn't like the format of a lower seed playing a higher seed. Why put that pressure on him? That's the beauty of the tournament. He doesn't like really get that. Like I remember when George Mason, when they were in the tournament in 2006 and they played UConn in that Elite Eight. Nobody expected George Mason to even be there. They beat Michigan State and they beat my team UNC. And then they went on. They beat Wichita State, which is fine. I mean, they were close to home. They were playing in Washington D.C. On Georgetown's court. And then they go and play UConn. Nobody expected UConn to lose that game. UConn was a potential Final Four team. You had Marcus Williams that year. You had Hilton Armstrong. You had Josh Boone. You had Rudy Gay. You had Denham Brown off the bench. You had, you just had a whole lot of guys. They were really deep that year. And you had Craig Austria. I'm trying to think of some more. They were really deep that year. And you also have to remember that not a lot of upsets were happening in '06. There was that one game like Northwestern State. Northwestern State, like nobody heard of. Nobody expected them to beat Iowa. And again, that's like the beauty of the tournament because you want to see those upsets. You know, you want to see a 12 seed try and beat a 6 seed. You want to see a 8 seed beat a 9 seed. Even though barring that's not like a real upset, you still want to see it. And it all goes back to the committee too, and how they put the format together. They wouldn't have put it together if they weren't, wanting to make it this exciting. Now, granted, it's still about the money, because that's why I expanded, and they're probably going to expand. I hate to say this, probably in the next, if not 10 years, maybe, um, maybe 15. They might extend. It's 68 right now, and it's four, you know, four games. They might extend it to like 90, which that brings in more teams. And what sucks is that fans that are used to like 3 weeks of that tournament, they have to look at maybe 6 weeks of that tournament. And it's like, okay, all right, that's enough. Because that's too many teams. And then you got some of the bubble teams getting it. That's why all this talk about that expansion like last year or 2 years ago, you have to win, man. Like, even if strength of schedule, even if you have the toughest schedule, at least try and win a few of those games in December. Because those are going to matter later on in March when they look at your resume. And also, win your conference. Win your conference in the regular season, but not just that, but also try and make a run in the conference tournament. If if you're a bubble team and you're like say 9-9 in the Big East, which usually that gets you in, you have to win at least 2 games in the Big East tournament to get in, and they have to be formidable teams. They can't be somebody like a Seton Hall or South Florida. They have to be somebody like say a Villanova, a St. John's, a UConn, somebody with some history in the Big East that's been good. UConn, they had that history. They've pretty much been like a perennial power in the Big East. Sorry. And you also have to look at teams like Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they haven't been to the Big East championship since they joined the conference. And now they're going to the ACC. They have one more chance tonight against Louisville. We'll see what happens. But getting back to making sure that as a bubble team, you make sure that you're not sweating it on that Sunday for selection show. Man, you got to go out and do everything possible you can. As a coach, you got to make sure you schedule the right people, schedule the right teams. You got to make sure that, you're playing well as a team and that also you can go on a neutral court and win. You have to go in those like holiday tournaments and stuff and understand that you're gonna be on a neutral court in the NCAA tournament. You're not gonna be close to home all the time. You could be a team like Villanova and be put in Utah. You're gonna have to win on a neutral court in Utah. You could be somebody like Louisville and you be put down in Mississippi. You're gonna have to win down there in Mississippi. Now, barring that's close to Kentucky, that's maybe 2 states away. You're gonna have more fans there, but still, that's like deeper in the South. You could be a team like say even Gonzaga, and have to be all the way in the East. You have to be in Philadelphia. You have to win there. So no matter where you go on a neutral court, you have to prove that you can win on neutral court in the regular season and also in the postseason. Because in the postseason for conference tournaments, usually they're on neutral courts. It, especially the top six conferences in uh, college basketball. Because why? Because Big Ten, it's always been put in Chicago or Indiana. The ACC has been like in a bunch of places. They've been in Greensboro. They've been in DC. They've been consistently in Greensboro most of the time. They've been in DC. They've been in Atlanta a couple of times, and they've also been in Charlotte. Charlotte was last year. You have the the Big 12. They've been in Kansas City. They've been in Oklahoma City. They've also been to um, they've also been down to Dallas. Um, the Big East. They've always been in Madison Square Garden, and I think that just fits that aura, Madison Square Garden. You automatically think of the Big East tournament. When you think of the Big East in the tournament, the conference tournament, you automatically say, "Oh, Madison Square Garden." You got the Pac-12. They've been the last 12 years at the Staples Center. Now they just changed because you know it's different now. They came out of that contract with them. Now they're going to be in Las Vegas for probably about the next 8 years. You also have uh, the SEC. The SEC has been in Atlanta, it's been in Nashville, and it's also been in Kentucky a couple of times. You have to prove that you can win on any neutral court. Bottom line, wherever it's at Atlanta, Chicago, Miami, Dallas, Utah, uh, San Antonio, Houston, Columbus, Ohio, um, even Detroit. You have to understand that you have to win on neutral court because also you're gonna be playing at like football stadiums turn into basketball arenas. You're gonna be playing at a Lucas Oil Stadium. You're also gonna be playing at a I don't know what's another one. Cowboy Stadium. You're also gonna be playing at Reliance Stadium. And yes, it's hard to shoot in a dome, but you're gonna have to like play in it, man. You're gonna have to. There's no complaints. I mean, the Elite Eight is there. You're gonna have to play in a dome. All elite, because they changed it. I think about like 3 years ago. Because it used to be. I remember in '05, like the first time I really watched the tournament. Like I was really interested in it. '05, I'll never forget. They had they had the Austin region. They had the Syracuse region. Um, and I can't remember the other two regions, but those weren't at football like stadiums. Austin region, of course, was where it takes place, Irvington. Syracuse region was up in Syracuse at the Odom. So, I mean, like, no matter where you play, you just have to make sure that you bring it. And for those bubble teams that, again, sweating it out, you just have to make sure that you win as many games in the conference as you can and don't let up. Don't let up either. Don't get on like a three game losing streak. You don't want to do that. And don't lose to the bad teams either. Lose, you know, if you're going I hate to say this, but if you were to lose, make sure that it's to a winnable team. Like like a tough team like Syracuse and Louisville. Make sure it's some team like that. Or if it's some team like Maryland or Florida State. Usually Florida State has been good, but they're not good this year. But yeah, man, that's all I got to say about the comments that Skip Bayless made about March Madness. Um, and check me out because I'll probably putting up more YouTube videos later on, and probably going in like in depth to what's going to happen in March Madness. Probably showing the bracket. Probably got one bracket going this year. That's probably all I'm gonna do. I might do two brackets, but I don't know. But just going in depth in that and tell you what upsets I think are gonna happen, and also who I think is gonna make a Cinderella run. But other than that, peace.